Today, we're going to be talking about choosing between your husband and your affair partner. First of all, if you're in this situation, it's confusing, it's isolating, it's painful. Often we have a lot of shame for the dilemma that we're in. In reality, it's normal, it's natural. This is a very human experience. And if you only really meet yourself with shame and guilt and self-judgment, then you stop the ability from really processing what you're experiencing. If we can come to this question with actually targeting, okay, what are we actually moving through without any of the shame, any of the guilt, any of the judgment, then we can get to the root of the answer. So let's just take all shame, guilt, judgment aside and look at the picture. Right now, you're in a secret relationship with a married man and you have a husband. So you're cheating, and that can be a heavy word to digest. And if you don't even want to call it that at the moment, by all means, do what feels digestible for you at the moment. And also, maybe this is not quite your situation. Maybe you're not cheating, but you have an emotional connection with someone and you're wondering how do you navigate through this effectively, making sure that you are really aligning with your values and your standards for relationships and life. So first off, I just want to quickly talk about some of the patterns that I see in women coming to me. Now, this does not mean that this pattern applies to you, but one of the patterns I often see is women in a relationship with a man who is passive, not really driven, taking action in life. And then she's met this affair partner who is a very active masculine. And so he's suddenly meeting a lot of needs that are not met in the container of the home or in the container of the marriage. He's pursuing you, he's choosing you fully, he's wanting to hang out, and the relationship with your husband is it works, it's comforting, it's easy, it's safe, it's consistent. He provides in the house, he shows up in the house and all of that, but there's no real spark or chemistry in the relationship. And so it feels like a safe relationship. And then this affair partner feels like an exciting, fueled, strong, passionate, very passionate relationship. What I see in these two parties is could be vice versa, but I often see it play out in this way, is the husband is in his passive masculine and the affair partner is in an unhealthy controlling masculine. And taking control can feel so good because you may feel like at home sometimes you need to take control, and so suddenly someone having a partner that is fully leading can feel so good. However, we want to look at, okay, whereas the, say, unhealed states of the masculine showing up in both of these partners, and they may be actually operating in different ways, in different unhealed ways. Your affair partner or one of your partners may be more active and the other more passive. And these qualities of active and passivity can show up in both of the men in different places. Coming back to this, instead of approaching the question of should I choose one man or choose another, should I choose my husband or my affair partner, what I want you to come back to is more what are the qualities that I'm seeking in relationship and how can I work towards getting them met in my relationship? And does each of these partners have the ability to have these qualities in them, or are they missing? And are they qualities that if they are missing, I wouldn't actually be fulfilled in the long run having a relationship without this quality in my partner? So I'm gonna ask you a few questions around what are you looking for in terms of a relationship. And when you're asking these questions and I say your partner, I want you to look at, does my affair partner have these qualities, and can I experience this with my affair partner? And then also do the same reflection with your husband. So, first of all, I want you to look at boundaries and your ability to set healthy boundaries. Can you say no to your partners? Can you say no to your husband? Can you fully say no? And if one of your partners has a passive traits playing out, sometimes you want your partner to be able to stand up for what he needs and wants in a relationship and to also be able to put his input. So sometimes when you can just say no all the time, you also need him to have a say and to have desire and to know exactly what he wants so that he can have input in the relationship. And then from the other extreme, does one of your partners, does your affair partner or your husband not allow you to have a sense of choice? When you say no, do you feel like you're bumping up against conflict? Do you feel like things are justified or explained without you actually just having the ability to say, hey, this doesn't feel good to me. I'm not wanting to do that today. And just easily, naturally say no. Look at this with both partners and see what it looks like. Ultimately, you want to be able to fully say no in moments and be respected on this, but you also want your partner to have a sense of self in knowing what he wants, but not a sense of control in dominating what you want, but clearly knowing exactly what he wants and being able to communicate that while also respecting what you want. The next one is, can you tell him how you really feel? And this means in all moments, can you be very attuned to what it is that you're needing? Can you be very attuned to what it is that feels good and doesn't feel good, and to be able to communicate, hey, this doesn't feel good to me, or hey, I'm not ready for that, or hey, that feels too fast, or can you communicate everything? Hey, when you show up like this in public, I don't feel that it's respectful to me and that feels uncomfortable. And can you share everything knowing that you will be met with understanding, respect, curiosity, a desire to really get to know your heart? And then the next one is, does your heart feel safe with him? And I've mentioned this on other videos, but does your heart truly feel safe with him? And for this question, I want you to ask intuitively. I just want you to see which answer came up really quickly on yes or no. And if there was elements of no, what were these elements that don't feel truly safe? And if it was quick to say yes, then what are the elements that feel very safe? Often, some of the things in an active masculine that feel safe is that he is protective. He is wanting to protect you, but tuning into, is this protection or is this control, and really noticing the subtleties. When do I feel protected and when do I feel controlled? So tune into that answer and check in with the parts of you that feel like, sometimes I don't fully feel safe, and tune into the parts that does feel safe. No, ask yourself this question for both your husband and your affair partner. The next one I want to ask you is, does his pursuit feel healthy or invasive? The reason why I ask this question is because, and I guess one of the questions that I would also add on top of this, were you looking for anything outside of the relationship before you met him? And how did he come in? Like, what was the nature of your affair partner entering your life? Did it happen quickly? Was it slow? How did it really happen? And then looking at his pursuit, because when he pursues you, if it feels, you may not notice it feeling invasive, but sometimes what I do see is that the pursuit is invasive. And you may not be quite aware that it is invasive, but I do want to tune into, did it happen really fast? Sometimes when it happens really fast, it can accelerate fast, but then it can have a collapse. And we want to make sure that in your relationship, when you're choosing between your husband and your affair partner, is that although everything feels maybe high at the moment and really good, that you also don't have the collapse. And in this collapse, this is when a lot of people search up the question, like, will my affair relationship last? If I commit to my affair partner, will it last? The very short answer to that is, or not short answer, but the thing that we want to tune into that is how fast did it really happen? Was there a healthy speed of allowing you to really tune into your yes and no on your commitment to this? So when it's a healthy pursuit versus an invasive pursuit, what I notice with the invasive pursuit is that it's them driving the vision of your future. When your affair partner creates a picture for the future of the relationship, sometimes he can plant seeds into your experience of what the future is going to be like without you having the time to be able to have a sense of choice around, is this the future I am wanting to choose? So he could say, like, I've never met anyone like you. This is the closest I've ever felt with anyone. We have a connection that is like no other. And although these things can be true, there can also be an element of, say, seeding that is happening where it's influencing the experience that you're having of this relationship, influencing it in a way for you to look at things like positively, like this is a relationship that I've never experienced before. The chemistry is so high, all of that. And you want to have chemistry that's high and all of these things that create a sense of this must be my dream relationship that I've always wanted, and now it's come into my life when I am married. So I want you to notice this from a healthy and invasive relationship perspective, that is my affair partner planting seeds that is essentially speeding up the process of this relationship before I'm actually having the ability to tune into my needs, how I orient in this relationship, my groundedness on knowing which decision I want to make and making it from that place. Is he influencing that? If he's influencing that, then I notice what it feels like is there's a sense of an energy of leaning into you. And in that leaning in, that's where I talk about invasiveness. It's them impacting your decisional energy on this relationship, as opposed to you coming to that slowly yourself within your own time. Next one is, do I trust this person fully? Does this person, and both coming from my husband, do I trust him? Do I feel safe in the relationship with him? And your affair partner, do I trust him? Do I feel safe in the relationship with him? These questions that come to both of the relationships, but let's just speak on the nature of infidelity. There is a secret here. It's based off deception. And so there is actually a lack of safety that right now is not being triggered because you're in relationship with him. But then if you end your primary relationship and be in relationship with your affair partner, will you feel the same sense of security that he won't do that again? At the moment, you may be feeling like, absolutely, because we feel like we're destined together. But what I notice come up in these relationships is a leaky energy where sometimes they can be charming to the waitress, and just that leaky energy doesn't feel safe. And so it's important for you to look at, okay, how much am I really feeling safe? And that I can trust that my partner has my back at all times, and that he won't deceive me, and that he will really care and consider me. If you are in a fair relationship, or a relationship that where you have an emotional connection with another man that's not your husband, then what you really want to tune into is how he has approached this relationship. If he's been very boundaried, but also communicating his feelings and where he's at with this, but not allowing you both to engage in this in a physical way and also an energetic way too soon before other things get cleaned up in life, then you'll notice a sense of respect and integrity coming from the man. But if there's things that aren't being respectful towards the wife that you're noticing, this will also create a lack of safety towards how much respect will he have to me behind my back in times that he's not necessarily happy with me. You're going to have times where you're not happy with each other. And so does he have your back, and does he have your full respect, even if you're going through a conflict? So look at those two parts for both of these relationships, in how much you trust your husband and also how much you trust your affair partner. The next one is, do I hold equal power in this relationship with my husband and with my affair partner? How much power do we have in the relationship? Back to this like passivity and active masculine is you may feel like you are more in control in your primary partner or vice versa, and that doesn't feel good. And so you want your man to lead, and that the lack of, say, stepping up doesn't feel good. And then in your affair relationship or vice versa, you may feel that your partner is more controlling, your affair partner is more controlling, and he does take the lead and he does take control. There can be so much, such a significant sense of safety in this feeling when he is taking full control. There can be a significant sense of safety when your partner does take control, when you're really craving that sense of safety for your partner to lead. However, can you too take control at times, and will that be respected, or is it your partner, whoever that may be, whether you're a fair partner or your husband, that is always the one calling the shots, taking the lead, making the decisions on where to eat or which school the kids go to, all of that. So tune in, is there a healthy level of control in this relationship? If it's you being in too much control or your partner being in too much control, look into the dynamic of that and tune into if it is imbalanced. Is there potential for this to be balanced so that the relationship is healthier? Again, these are questions that we're asking for both relationships because we want to make sure that instead of coming from a black or white perspective of should I leave or should I stay, which partner do I choose? It's very black or white. And that's why it's so confusing to know what the real decision is because we're not actually answering all these little intricate questions around the safety, the integrity, the values of the relationship. Now, the next one, this is a big one. Is he invested in the health of the relationship, or is he more invested in protecting himself? And the reason why I say protecting himself, does he defend his ways? Does he justify himself? Does he explain himself as opposed to being like, hey, I see this impacted you. I see my actions impacted you. I really want to make sure that we're continuing to grow and strengthen our relationship so that we both feel safe and fulfilled in the relationship. And how can we fix this so that it no longer shows up again, so that you no longer feel this way? How can we do that? How can I do better? That type of conversation is very reflective, very taking responsibility for his part, really honoring your safety in the relationship and the relationship container, the health of the relationship container, making sure we're continually looking at the health of the relationship and making it better with each little thing that comes up. If he's more concerned, and I say he just being one of the men you're in the relationship with, if he's more concerned about defending his ways, staying in the right, being in control, then you can only move so far in the relationship. And it may feel extremely passionate, or in some cases, yeah, it may feel incredible. However, with time, if there is no real ability to be reflective on the relationship and concerned about the safety and how good you feel in the relationship based on their actions, then the health will deteriorate. So you may feel right now his control can come across as pursuit. He's interested in you, he's invested in all of that, and that can feel like you can feel so desired in that. However, with time, is he really caring for your heart? Is he really working at making sure that this relationship is aligned with your values of safety, connection, emotional depth, play, all of these things, taking responsibility, all of these values? Is the relationship meeting these values? In order to have a really healthy relationship, you want to be continually reflecting and asking, how can we do it better? As opposed to circular experiences where there's conflict, passionate make out without any resolution in what's going wrong. And this can really create such a strong relationship that is distorted. Its strength is based off trauma and then needing to attach because of the pain, as opposed to a strong relationship that is built off true emotional respect and intimacy. So I hope these things help. If you do desire to work through this, I offer one-to-one coaching. I offer programs where it's a 3-month program with me, where you can come on this journey and really transform your relationships. And if you're wanting support in a community type setting, then I also offer an affair support community where members can chat to each other who are going through these dynamics. So I hope that helps. If you have questions around this, you're welcome to email me or message me on Instagram. I can reach you on Instagram if you send me a message. And then the book a call link, I have a free 15-minute book a call link where you can talk with me about how we can progress your journey forward so that you are feeling fulfilled in relationship. I hope that helps. Bye for now.